the genesis. I think what's of interest should be the genesis of these court cases ensuing. When did that start? Now, because obviously you're saying that you couldn't perform your duties as an executive to the fullest at the time because of all of this pending
Chess
court
South
cases.
Africa executive, right?
Yes,
Then immediately there was where the interim committee under Joe,
yes,
they said no, 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 but your executive is not the right executive because we weren't there in the meeting.
in the
But the thing
elections.
is, this elections, but everybody was invited to the SESCOC offices for the meeting. Now, bearing in mind, I fly from Western Cape.
Can we start
Western Cape
from
don't have
who
money.
calls? Can we start from the point of who calls the meeting for the elections?
The elections was called by it had to be elections. The date for elections was set in January at SESCOC offices.
But there's an
So
interim
what I
executive board, right?
there's an interim executive board and they
Yes.
called for it,
But
right?
they called for it, but then
So
they couldn't attend it.
then the last minute on the day,
Uh,
on the morning, they called it off. Now you can't call off elections, and say you're not going to make it. The elections must be held because you can't be interim forever.
but they
And
appointed
so
the
there was a
elections
return.
officer as well, right? As the interim
The
executive board.
elections, the elections officer was the returning officer from SESCOC
Yeah.
at the SESCOC office.
So they couldn't stop the elections officer from attending, but they themselves wanted to cancel and they didn't go to the meeting.
They wanted to cancel and they felt they going to oppose, but then elections was held. So now we have the executive board being formed, right?
Yes,
And
but before we get to the executive board form, I just wanted to just to clarify that the elections,
you just
the
thinking
interim
now
executive board.
that this board is going to just
Hmm?
function.
You sorry? Hmm?
Remember, they're not legitimate. The interim executive board had to be replaced. We needed the
Yes,
urgent executive to function
exactly.
properly
I
because
understand.
you need the
Yes, yes.
Olympic team, you need to function. So now, me coming from Western Cape,
Hmm.
Andre Lavax nominated me. Remember, Andre Lavax was my development officer again while I was the executive member of Western Cape,
No, yes, no.
right? I was
I understand.
so
And I
so.
understand the processes.
What,
I'm just trying to
what
get
you
to the
understand is,
day of the elections now. You see what I mean? Because I
yeah,
just want to
the
find
day
out
of the
if they were canceling them because we were not there. And so you would know that what if they must have provided a reason for wanting to cancel the elections, even though
but
it
you
was too
can't, but
late and there was no reason why it should be stopped, but it was too late.
exactly
But they must have
you
said
can't
something
change.
to say this is why we are canceling or we are postponing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think for me that time I thought Joe wanted to cancel number one because the financials weren't in order of them, and number two, I'm talking about Joe them's financials. Remember they had the school's money that was gone.
so they didn't have financials ready. That's why they wanted to cancel number one.
I
Yes.
don't know what was the reason, but we were eager to move because Shanks, remember Shanks was their treasurer,
Okay.
and he was then the treasurer of. So what is very important is the continuation of the financials.
Oh,
So if
okay.
Shanks
Yeah.
was the treasurer of the interim and he was also there at the elections, and
Yeah.
so I thought this is legitimate. And me flying from Cape Town, remember we don't have lots of resources, but they paid for me to. I think it cost us about a lot of money to fly and accommodation and
This
everything.
is
So now I come to the meeting on the day, not on the night, on the day I come there.
hmm.
They say Joe is not going to come because he feels he can't make it. So, but the elections was gone. Now imagine all the
Hmm.
provinces flying from everywhere coming
All
to
the
a meeting,
process is already
and
there.
they
Yes.
exactly.
Hmm.
And now you want to say the meeting is off? It's not Mickey Mouse. It's people's money. It's time. And we needed a proper executive because remember Aldo Smart passed on, and there was an interim
Yeah.
executive in his place. But then all
Hmm.
the legitimate guys like Shanks, them all were there, and Shanks was the treasurer. So we thought this is, and the returning officer was from SESCOC, had the elections. I became the vice president, and the Playcom guy was Devish. And
Hmm.
then there was dispute whether it must be him or whether it must be the other one, and all those. So what I want to say, as soon as a person became an executive, there was disputes. Now you ask yourself, did you come to serve or fight for the people? fighting amongst each other, petty stuff, or do you want to see proper administration? And I would like to believe at that